If you've ever read any folklore, you know don't F around with fairies. And today I'm telling you 3 stories from 3 different cultures where people F around and definitely find out. There's an Irish one called The Legend of Knock Grafton. There's this man who makes his living selling plated or braided goods that are woven out of like straw or rushes. And because of that, he has this nickname Lushmore. He's not a lush, if anyone even knows what that old-timey term means anymore. But he is a humpback or a hunchback, and the story tells us what a painful condition this is for him. He looked as if his body had been rolled up and placed upon his shoulders. His head was pressed down by the weight of it so much that his chin almost rested upon his knees for support. And he's a super nice, harmless person, as inoffensive as a newborn infant, but some ill-minded persons set strange stories about him or abuse him because of his deformity. One day he's out traveling and he chills near a moat, which is like a small hill, like a fairy hill. And he can hear fairies from within singing, and their singing is this song where they're chanting the days of the week in Irish. They're like Monday, Tuesday. Lushmore's swept up in how pretty the music is, and when there's a pause after Tuesday, he adds Wednesday, and the fairies just love it. They all come out and they're like, oh, we love what you added to our music. Come and dance and sing with us. And they bring him into their world, and they dance with him, and they serve him, they entertain him. And then one of them cries, Lushmore, Lushmore, doubt not nor deplore, for the hump which you bore on your back is no more. Look down at the floor and view it, Lushmore. And he sees that they've removed his hump and it's on the floor, and he stretches up for the first time, looks up at the ceiling. He doesn't feel pain. He's so happy he basically passes out, and when he wakes up, the fairies are gone, but he still doesn't have his hump. He goes into town, and it takes him a while to convince everyone that it's him because they only have known him with the hump and they can't believe it. But he tells everyone what happened. Well, then this old woman comes to him and she's like, my son has a hump and he wants the same thing to happen. Did it really happen this way? And he tells her, yeah, here's how it went down. So she sends her son out to do the same thing. And this is something that often happens in folklore. It works out naturally and well for a kind person who deserves it. But as soon as someone goes out seeking it and demanding it, things go badly for him. And that's what happens with this man. He waits for the fairy song. He rudely interrupts too soon to sing Wednesday and then continues with Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And they're like, ooh, we don't like that. His name is Jack Madden. And so they say, Jack Madden, your words came so bad in the tune we felt glad in. This castle you're had in, that your life we may sadden. Here's 2 humps, Jack Madden. So they bring out Lushmore's hump, put it on top of Jack Madden's lump as firmly as if it was nailed with 12 penny nails. He has double the pain and misery, and he later dies in grief. The end. Now, the Grimm brothers have a version of this story called The Gifts of the Little People, and they're not called fairies in it, just small magical people. A goldsmith and a tailor are traveling together, and they come upon the little people dancing and singing. The goldsmith has a hump on his back, and he goes in and joins, and then the tailor comes in and joins too, and then this old man with a beard suddenly slowly comes up to the tailor, and the tailor's like, what's going on? And he takes out a knife, and the tailor's like, wait, what? And then the old man just shaves them clean, shaves their head and their faces. He then points to this pile of coal and tells them to take some, so they're like, okay, and they put the coal in their pockets, and then, they fall asleep, they wake up, and the coal that was in their pockets, when they bring it out, it's turned to gold now, and all of their hair has grown back and everything. The goldsmith is greedy, and he's like, well, now that we know the coal turns to gold, I'm gonna go back again and get more. But the tailor's like, you can, but I'm good. I've got enough to marry my fiance, and that's what I want to do, so I'm gonna marry her and settle down and be a happy man. And the goldsmith's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go get rich. So he goes back, greedily stuffs his pockets with coal this time, lets the dude shave him again, and when he wakes up, he's like, ooh, let me see my gold, but it's all still coal. And his hair has not grown back. And in addition to the hump on his back, he now has a hump on his front. He goes to the tailor crying and miserable, and the tailor, who is super nice, says, it's okay, you were my traveling companion. At least you can just live off of my treasure for now. I'll share it with you. So he keeps his word, and the goldsmith still has some money, but he has to bear 2 humps and cover his bald head with a cap as long as he lives. My favorite version, and likely the oldest, is from Japan, and it's called How the Old Man Lost His Wen. And a wen is like a big painful boil that he has on his cheek. He tries all sorts of remedies and cures, but it never gets better. And I used to have cystic acne, I get it. Well, one day he's out cutting wood, and instead of fairies, he hears a bunch of goblins coming around, having a big party and a feast. So he hides in the hollow of a tree, because goblins. He listens to the goblins dancing for a while, and then suddenly he gets all swept up in the melody, and he's like, I want to dance. So he hops out from the tree and does a little dance. The goblins are like, oh my God, we love your dance. All our dances are very old, and this is the first new dance we've ever seen. Do it again. And he's like, all right, and he does. They're like, oh my God, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Come back tomorrow and dance for us again. And he's like, okay. And they're like, but we don't actually believe you'll definitely come back. So you see that wen on the side of your face? We think those are really valuable. So you have to leave it with us and you're going to have to come back to get it. So we're going to take that now. So they magically take the wen off of his face and he's like, oh no, I'll be sure to come back for that tomorrow. And then he leaves and he goes home and he shows his wife and he's like, look, and she's like, what a blessing. You've been favored by the gods. We should be grateful. Well, turns out his neighbor also has a wen. And when he finds out what happens, he's like, I'm going to go do the same thing. But when he jumps out and dances for the goblins, it's not that he's rude or mean. He's just not as good. The goblins tell him, your dancing is offensive, leave. And his real big mistake is that he doesn't listen and he keeps doing it because he wants to get rid of the wen. But of course, the goblins instead put the other dude's wen on his other cheek, so now he's got two. And the goblins scamper back into the mountain to leave him alone and sad. If you like stories about escaping to dance in a magical fairy realm, check out my book, link is in the bio, and of course my podcast, the link's there too.